That's what a spiritual awakening feels like. Don't forget that every part of the journey serves a massive purpose. No one's really preaching what it takes to build the roots in your life, what it takes to build actual lifelong success. Put your energy into the root. We have to take into account what's in alignment with our lives, what's in alignment for us. Is one of the most powerful and pivotal moments that you'll have during each spiritual awakening.
I choose to heal.
I choose to heal.
I choose to heal
as an expression of love to myself, my community, this earth, and those who I'm descended from.
Because holding on to my past traumas and holding on to bad things that people did to me was not leading to a happy life at all.
Why wouldn't I want to be healed? Why do I want to sit around stressed? Why do I want to sit around with weight on my shoulders? I want to be free. I want to feel liberated. I want to be able to accomplish things that my heart desires.
Because my driving force is happiness, and I want to be and speak and live in a place of love and light versus a place of anger and resentment.
Welcome to the Healers Break to Heal series, where we discuss the many ways we choose to heal, spreading high vibrational living and awareness internationally to create a collective divine energy that heals our universe. We believe in embracing our spiritual awakenings to identify our personal power and authentic selves. This series can be found on multiple platforms such as Lena Mystic YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. To learn more, you can visit lenamysticoracle.com. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Hello, mystical light beings, and welcome to another episode of Healers Break to Heal. Today we're going to be talking about the quiet phase of life, the stillness of life, and what to do when you feel lost. A lot of people ask me, I feel like I'm stagnant in life, I feel like I'm stuck, and I feel like I don't know where I'm going necessarily or how I'm going to get there. And they ask me, what do you do during that phase? And I'm like, be still with it. Definitely be still with the stillness that life is already providing you. Yeah, what do you do when it's still in life, when you don't feel like you know where to go, you don't feel like you know what to do in this phase? Be still with it. Allow yourself to be still as nature is still during the winter and how things are quieter. Allow yourself to enter into that hermit phase until you know it's time to leave it. There is a beautiful purpose in staying still until you're divinely moved and divinely shifted. There is a purpose in that stillness. So if you can sit still with that stillness instead of trying to move and trying to act like you're doing something but you're really not doing anything because you don't have a plan because you don't know where you're going with something. If you're just moving the whole time, you're basically going to prolong the stillness, and a lot of us don't want to prolong the stillness, the quiet. So if you really want to do something impactful during that still period, remain still with it and be calm and trust the process. People talk about trusting the process, and it is a little difficult to be like, oh my God, it feels like things are falling apart around me and there's not much that I can do. I don't feel like there's anything I can do right now. What do I do? Well, sometimes we have to take a step back and, step out of ourselves, take a step back, see the bigger picture, and observe around us and say, okay, this is working for that person, but how can I find a solution in my life? How can I find something that's healing for me at this time? And even sometimes people tend to get jealous when people are moving rapidly, but they're staying still. You have to take into account that you have no idea what it took to get them to where they are. That's why I don't personally believe in comparing yourself to other people. You can observe what other people are doing and see if it resonates with you, but you're not going to be able to do the exact same process and get the exact same result. That's just not realistic. We have to take into account what's in alignment with our lives, what's in alignment for us. So I suggest staying still because that stillness allows you to see the bigger picture and connect to your spirit, your own energy. And that hermit phase is one of the most powerful and pivotal moments that you'll have during each spiritual awakening. And I say each spiritual awakening because we go through multiple spiritual awakenings. We awake to different things in our life that have to do with us and our spiritual growth journey. So every time you hit that hermit mode phase, it's a beautiful opportunity to actually grow. That is when you are building your roots. I keep seeing this thing on Instagram or Facebook. I can't remember. It was actually a few years ago, and it was like an iceberg, and the iceberg looks so small on the top, but it's like massive on the bottom, and it's really doing that root work. It's really building. You can't necessarily see it from the outside, but when you look at the whole process, you're like, wow, you actually are doing something. Like, but the little bit of growth may make someone laugh, like, haha, you think you're doing something, you're not really. But they don't have any roots, maybe. But you have roots. Or just like the carrot that the leaves look super small on top of the grass, but it's like a massive carrot below. Put your energy into the roots. If we think about plants, and I love plants, I'm a plant addict, I'm plant obsessed. If we think about plants, when they get root bound, we have to, and root bound just means the roots are taking up all the soil, they've eaten all the nutrients, it's time to put it into a bigger pot. So let's say we're looking at a plant, and the plant gets root bound, we put it into a bigger pot. Now the leaves aren't growing anymore. It doesn't look like they're growing. Is my plant doing okay? Yes, it is. It's just focusing on the root growth. What's most important is those roots, because without those roots, those leaves wouldn't be there. Those leaves couldn't survive because each part of the plant plays a role. And sometimes that role is to grow and dig into your roots and build upon your roots, make them stronger so that the outer growth can show as well. And at some point it will show. But if you're so worried about what other people are seeing, if people are seeing you move, if it looks like you're taking action, then you're not taking proper action for yourself. So don't be concerned about what things look like on the outside. Be concerned about if you're actually doing the work that you need to do. There's a lot of people preaching love and light and all this, beautiful stuff, but no one's really preaching what it takes to get there. No one's really preaching what it takes to build the roots in your life, what it takes to build actual lifelong success and actual healing journeys. So don't be afraid if you feel like you keep being put at a standstill and it looks like you're not doing anything. Because the truth is, you asking yourself that question is already good for you, because you're asking yourself, what am I actually doing? What can I actually do? And that just tells me that you are looking to grow. So during this growth period of stillness, remain still. You will find your answers. If you're always pressed or looking for a certain direction or a certain outcome, that's not always going to serve you very well. So when you feel still and stuck and stagnant, retreat back into yourself and ask yourself, where do I want to go? Then start asking yourself, what can I do in a future sense? Because during that still moment, you do need to stay still and keep looking at different avenues instead of moving all the time. And you'll know. A lot of people know when they're being put at a standstill. It's like, I feel like, I'm frustrated, I can't do anything, there's nothing I can do. In that period where there's literally nothing you can do and you've done all that you can do, it's time to pause, and then ask yourself, what do I want? What's the outcome that I'm looking for? What would it look like if I explored a different outcome? What would it look like if I explored a different daily routine? Trying those things out, testing them out. You may not appear to be moving, but you are. You're shifting your mindset, you're shifting your soul, you're healing your mindset and soul. So don't take for granted that pause in life and that quiet phase in life, because it serves a massive purpose. And if you were supposed to remain still at a certain period and you're supposed to stand still, but you're still doing the most, it's going to prolong your growth. Because at that point where spirit is telling you to shh, and you keep moving, you're literally like a hamster on a hamster wheel. And you're more concerned about your ego and what things appear to be physically rather than what they actually are beyond the physical realm. And keep in mind, we stay with our spirit eternally. We don't stay with the physical eternally. And it also doesn't matter what anyone really thinks about you, because we are here to serve our spirit and the spirit, you know? So if we can focus our energies on what actually matters during that still period, the magic that we could create is incredibly powerful. Don't forget that every part of the journey serves a massive purpose. So if you keep trying to force it to look a certain way, you're not allowing the purpose to be fully served. Allow yourself to be served, allow spirit to be served, and you'll even see that people around you are learning from that experience that you're going through too. Because when I tell you how many people have asked me why they feel stuck and have gotten readings during that stuck phase, and I'm like, you actually don't need to do anything right now. Spirit is putting in work. Let spirit put in that work and trust the process. Trust your spirit. So if you feel like, I haven't gotten a promotion in a while. This is just an example. I haven't gotten a promotion in a while. It's really only been like 1 or 2 years. And you're like, I feel like I need to get a promotion. I feel like, like when you start getting to that phase, it's time to retreat back into yourself. Ask yourself some questions to do that proper shadow work. We'll talk more here about what shadow work is, but I also want to discuss with you all what I said earlier about spiritual awakenings and how you go through multiple spiritual awakenings, because I don't think people realize that the spiritual awakening you go through the first time, that is just like the intro. That's the intro. That is when you had your massive awakening and you're no longer on autopilot. Although you can get back on autopilot if you ain't doing the work. But when you have that massive spiritual awakening where it's like, oh, now my eyes are open. Oh my God, the world looks different now. And you hop out of the matrix. That is a beautiful testimony that you'll have for the rest of your life. And if you don't continue to do the work on yourself, continue to ask yourself those questions, continue to reflect on yourself and where you are in life and how you're growing, then you're not going to keep having those beautiful spiritual awakenings if you're not doing those things, if you're not doing your part. But the more you work on yourself and you remain attuned to what spirit has in store for you, you're going to continue going through beautiful, luscious, luxury, hellful spiritual awakenings. And let's be for real. Spiritual awakenings aren't typically beautiful until the end of it, and you're like, oh, my power, like I've discovered my power. Life is beautiful. I am proud of myself. I'm proud of who I'm becoming. This is great. Like once you've done the work, it feels more beautiful. But in the midst of it, it's a little ugly, and it's like, what the heck is going on? Because this is not what I thought I signed up for. That's what a spiritual awakening feels like in the midst of it. But once you immerse yourself fully into the darkness and you see your power and you see that you have the courage that it takes to climb that mountain and that shadow with all the darkness, once you figure out you can do that, you're like, I can do anything and everything. And then you face another spiritual awakening and you're like, what is this? But then after you get out of that one, you feel the same way. And that's what growth looks like. It looks like, wow, I just conquered something big in my life. Now I get to bask in the rewards of this big thing that I just did. And hi, Bumblebee. There's a little bumblebee here. That's a good sign, you guys. Bumblebees are really great signs for growth, progress, working together, collaboration, and even prosperity. But let's get back to the podcast episode. When you go through these spiritual awakenings, it really is a testimony of all the different processes we go through life when we enter and emerge into that spiritual awakening, what we fight with while we're in there, the shadow work period, and then the emerging from the darkness and finding light within the darkness, because we become the light. And then you go on and you're like, wow, I get to bask in the success of the work that I put in, and I get to bask in gratitude because now I see everything that I did was for my greatest good, and everything that Spirit did was for my greatest good. That quiet period was for my greatest good because it was preparing me for the next phase of my life. And then once we get into that gratitude and conquering mode, and we kind of like keep going up, and then we emerge into something brand new that we're not used to, and it makes us feel like, oh man, we regressed. But you didn't regress. You grew so much that you're in another phase, that you're learning something new, that you are conquering a different battle, because that the other battles that you had are no longer battles. You already conquered those. So when you feel like you are regressing and you're like, maybe I'm just getting worse, the fact that you're even asking yourself that is a huge sign that you are growing, because you're trying to reflect on what you're doing right now and if it's helpful and if it's helping you grow. But I want you to tell yourself, I conquered my other battles. That's why I'm having this new awakening. That's why I am seeing these other challenges, because now that I've conquered those other challenges, there are new ones that I must conquer to reach the level of growth that I'm looking for. So no, you didn't regress. No, you didn't. And this is your confirmation that you are progressing in life, even if things feel still, even if things feel boring, even if things feel chaotic. And let's talk about that. When things feel chaotic and we feel chaotic in ourselves, we're like, oh my God, I'm not growing anymore. No, you are. It's just now you have to learn how to control yourself in this phase as well. There's so many different phases in life. So it's not all about that one spiritual awakening you went through, and ever since that you've been regressing. It's more like I spiritually became awake during that period, but now I need to awaken to this period, and I need to heal myself during this phase. I have something else to work on. And just think about projects that you do in school or you do at work. Like once you finish that project, you're always going to have a new one. There's always more growth to be had. There's always more things to be done. So don't look at yourself as I'm getting worse, or I'm not doing my part, or I'm not doing what I need to do. Look at yourself as, wow, I did what I needed to do. And I give gratitude that I'm in this new phase of my life, because it's going to teach me something new, something impactful, something powerful. And I don't know, guys, what do you think about this episode? Did it help you? Did it give you the confirmation that you needed to continue along your journey? Let me know in the comment section. Make sure you review this podcast as well if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Let me know what you think. And I hope that this really, really helped you guys, because I just hate for people to think that they are regressing just because things are getting hard again. Honestly, you're not. You're just not. And you have to give yourself the gratitude that you deserve, because you have worked so hard that now you are in a new phase, and now you are able to make even more impactful, powerful shifts in your life and other people's. I hope to see you guys in another podcast episode, and I love you so, so much, and I hope you have a great day. And I'll see you in another one.